Not Arbeloa's Real Madrid, Real Madrid's Real Madrid.
In January of 2026, Arbeloa was thrown straight into the deep end at Real Madrid.
Xabi Alonso has been sacked by Real Madrid.
Real Madrid have sacked Xabi Alonso.
Xabi Alonso não é mais o técnico do Real Madrid.
Súper sorpresiva. Probably was one of the most unexpected moments.
La verdad que sí, ha pillado por sorpresa.
It can't be just for losing a Super Cup game. It can't be.
His authority is minimum. It's impossible to continue.
The club was in chaos. The results were bad, the dressing room was divided, and the pressure was building fast. Just months earlier, Madrid had brought in Xabi Alonso with huge expectations. He was a club legend, and fans believed he could lead a new era. But things unraveled quickly. A painful 3-2 loss to Barcelona in the Spanish Super Cup final pushed the board over the edge. Or according to some reports, Alonso left on his own. Either way, after 7 months, Redbeard was gone. That's when Madrid made a bold and pretty risky move. They promoted Arbeloa from the reserve team straight into the first team job.
Well, looking at the club statement, there is the word interim does not appear. You know, he has been named as the new Real Madrid coach, and let's see how long that lasts.
He had never managed at the highest level before. Now he was in charge of a dressing room full of superstars, with confidence that was already shattered. Then, things couldn't have started worse.
The front pages, of course, all the sports newspapers dominated by Real Madrid's exit from the Copa del Rey. Total debacle, life stays the same or worse, knocked out, dreadful embarrassment, no Super Copa, no cup for Real Madrid.
His first match ended up being a disaster. Real Madrid were knocked out of the Copa del Rey by a second division Albacete side, losing 3-2 after conceding late. It was embarrassing. The fans were furious, and the media went wild.
Just a reminder, this is an Albacete side who have been rubbish. Haven't won a game since December, struggling in their league, yet they come against Real Madrid and put in a performance of the season, performance of a lifetime.
But they're a shambles at the moment. They are an absolute shambles.
Now, to his credit, Arbeloa didn't actually hide from the abuse. He faced the cameras and took full responsibility, even though that loss really wasn't on him.
Que todos nuestros aficionados lo están y bueno, más cuando lo haces responsable y el culpable de esta victoria evidentemente soy yo, que soy el que he tomado las decisiones en cuanto a la alineación.
He apologized to the fans and admitted the failure was on him. It was a brutal welcome to the new job, and many people wondered if this guy was already in over his head. But instead of panicking, he stuck to a simple idea. He believed Real Madrid didn't need more complicated tactics. They didn't need a tactico. They needed belief, confidence, and unity. He even said himself that at Madrid, style and systems matter less than the mentality, character, and ambition of the players.
This is Real Madrid. Real Madrid goes beyond styles, beyond tactical concepts. Above all, it's about passion, character, mentality, ambition, and effort. That is Real Madrid, and that's the first step we have to take.
In his eyes, that's what the club has always been about.
Y esto es el Real Madrid. Cuando todos nos dan por muertos, venimos y ganamos la Champions. Por eso somos los mejores.
It makes sense when you look at the best Real Madrid managers from the past. The likes of Zidane and Ancelotti gave trust to the players, gave them freedom, and they let their quality decide games. So Arbeloa did the exact same thing. From day one, his focus was on the players feeling happy and confident again. He told them to enjoy themselves, to express who they are. He didn't overload them with instructions. Instead, he backed them publicly and gave them the freedom on the pitch. This was very clear with the attackers. Arbeloa made it clear that he didn't want stars like Vini and Mbappe wasting energy chasing fullbacks all game. He wanted them fresh and dangerous, ready to decide matches on their own. In particular, he spoke very glowingly about Vini, calling him one of the most game-breaking players in the world.
When the Bernabeu is with Vini, he is unstoppable. When he's happy, he's the most decisive and unbalancing player there is. And if we want to fight for all the titles, we need Vinicius.
Even when the media tried to harp down on him, he always defended Vini publicly, said he wanted to see him smiling, enjoying himself, and dancing on the pitch. Arbeloa kept stressing that Vini had his full trust and the total freedom to show his magic.
I'm extremely happy for him because he deserves it. He deserves the embrace from his teammates, he deserves the ovation from the Bernabeu, And I think that hug he gave me was really for all the Madrid fans. It wasn't so much a hug for the coach, but for all the people who have supported him, who have stood by him and shown their support during difficult moments.
Now, this was very important because under Alonso, there had been a lot of tension around Vinny. He was frustrated, unhappy, and clearly a shadow of the player that we saw in the 2024 season. Under Arbeloa, the mood around him instantly felt lighter, and slowly things started to turn. After the Albacete embarrassment, Madrid got a solid 2-0 win over Levante in La Liga. Then came a real statement performance. They bent Monaco over and spanked them in the Champions League. 6-1. The handbrakes were off. Vinny was electric, Bellingham ran the game, and Mbappe tore through their defense. The team played with confidence and joy again, and the Bernabeu loved it.
Today I saw a Bernabeu fully committed to Vinicius Jr., to the players, to Kylian Mbappe, to everyone. The effort the team made was enormous. Not only did they play a great match with the ball, not only were there great goals and brilliant plays, but the physical effort was incredible. What Bellingham ran tonight was unbelievable. All the players, Franco, Arda, the young players, Fede and Camavinga playing in positions that aren't their natural ones, the effort they made. As a coach, that makes me very happy because they put the team ahead of personal interests.
Arbeloa thanked the fans afterward, saying that when the stadium is on Madrid's side, the team becomes unstoppable.
Tonight, the credit and the medals belong to all of them, and to the Bernabeu crowd as well. Because without this support and this atmosphere, it's impossible to play like this. I said it the other day, if we want to compete for anything, we need them. Whenever Real Madrid has been great, it's been with a great Bernabeu.
Which is good because you slowly see the connection coming back between the players and the crowd. In the Levante game, they were getting booed. Now the old Madrid energy is starting to come back. Arbeloa admitted that he wanted more time to work on his tactics, but he knows the reality of the schedule. So for now, his job is very clear. He has to rebuild the players' confidence, keep the squad united, and let the superstars shine. Because as he's put it before, Real Madrid are always favorites for everything.
Real Madrid is always a favorite for everything. This is its competition. Obviously, there are great teams and there's still a long way to go, but this is Real Madrid, and it will always be a favorite in this tournament.
Now, Arbeloa's belief in mentality, confidence, and man management didn't come out of nowhere. It came from living inside of Real Madrid during one of the most intense and successful periods in the club's modern history. Arbeloa is a pure Real Madrid product. I mean, the guy came through the club's academy, and after just a few years away, he returned to Madrid in 2009 as a first-team player. From 2009 to 2016, Arbeloa was always around the squad. He made 238 appearances and won 8 major trophies during that time. Now, let me put it very simply, this guy was never a Galactico. He wasn't the guy selling shirts or scoring wonder goals, but he was always trusted, and he was always reliable at that right-back position.
Álvaro Arbeloa is massively popular with Real Madrid fans. They love Arbeloa. They love what he represents. They think he sort of stands up for the club and its interests, and has done so ever since his days as a player in the Mourinho team era. So they love Arbeloa. That is absolutely clear.
Now, he could play anywhere across the back line, and he was always willing to do the ugly work. And at Real Madrid, those kind of players are often just as important as the stars. During his time at the club, he won La Liga, 2 Copa del Rey titles, and most importantly, 2 Champions League trophies. One of those being La Decima in 2014, the long-awaited 10th European Cup that defined an era for Los Blancos. As a result, you can make the argument that Arbeloa understands something most coaches don't. Maybe even Alonso didn't get it. The Spaniard knows what it takes to survive at Real Madrid. He's lived in a dressing room full of egos. He's felt the pressure. He's lifted the biggest trophies in football wearing that white shirt. And maybe even more important than the trophies were the managers he played under. The coach who shaped Arbeloa the most was José Mourinho.
This is football heritage.
From 2010 to 2013, Arbeloa was one of Mourinho's most trusted players. He made 122 appearances under him and became known as one of Mou's soldiers. That Madrid side was ruthless. They were so aggressive, so mentally strong. They were able to beat Barcelona's dominance by winning the league in the 2011-2012 season with a record points total. Mourinho taught him the dark arts, taught him how to be good tactically, but also strong mentally. Arbeloa has always been very clear about that. He said Mourinho helped him become fearless, helped him speak his mind, and helped him defend his club without hesitation. It's from the Portuguese man that he learned confidence, loyalty. At the same time, Arbeloa has made it very clear that he's not trying to copy the special one. Anybody that tries to be Mourinho would end up failing. So instead, he just took the mentality. And you're seeing the influence today. Arbeloa isn't afraid to protect his players publicly. He isn't afraid to say what he thinks. And he demands character from his team, just like Mourinho once demanded from him. But Mourinho wasn't the only elite mind that Arbeloa learned from. Earlier in his career, he played for Liverpool, where he was coached by Rafa Benitez. Now, Benitez was a very different type of manager. He was much more tactical, very structured. From him, Arbeloa learned discipline, positioning, and how important organization is in big matches. At Real Madrid, he also played under Manuel Pellegrini, Carlo Ancelotti, and later Zinedine Zidane. Each one of these guys brought something different that Arbeloa learned from. Pellegrini was calm and pragmatic. Ancelotti was a master of man management. And Zidane, well, he just aura farmed. He had instant respect just by walking into the room. Arbeloa watched all of this, every training session, every team talk. He took in every moment inside a dressing room full of stars. Because remember, Arbeloa was like a role player, to make a basketball analogy. He wasn't a star. So without realizing it, he was getting a footballing education that most coaches only dream of. Now, while he wasn't as great as the likes of Cristiano Ronaldo and Gareth Bale, Arbeloa was still a leader. He was very vocal, passionate. He was never afraid to defend Real Madrid, whether it was in the locker room or in the media. His battles with Piqué became famous, and Madrid fans loved him for it. He represented the club with pride. Then on top of all that, Arbeloa also won everything he could with his country. He earned 56 caps and was part of the squads that won the FIFA World Cup in 2010 and the Euros. That Spanish generation really taught him what team unity looks like, how to win under massive pressure, how egos disappear when the goal is bigger than the individual. So by the time that Arbeloa retired in 2017, I mean, the guy had seen it all. Different systems, different leadership styles. So when he stepped into coaching, he took the mentality from Mourinho, the tactics from Benitez, the calm from Ancelotti, and the respect and connection from Zidane. But most importantly, he stayed himself. He's just trying to reapply everything that he lived through as a player, but he's adding his own touch to it. Now, after retiring as a player, Arbeloa didn't rush straight into a big coaching job. Instead, he actually went back to where it all started, Real Madrid. In 2020, he returned to the club to work with the youth teams. His job was to teach young players what it means to play for Los Blancos. Again, not just tactically, but mentally too. Now, it was clear from the beginning that he had something really special as a coach. He started with the under-14s and immediately won them the league. Then he did the same thing with the under-16s. But arguably, his biggest achievement came with the under-19s during the 2022-2023 season. That year, Arbeloa's side won everything. They lifted the league title, they won the domestic cup, they basically won the treble at the youth level.
We don't do that here.
His teams played great football, very attacking, brave, they pressed high, dominated the ball, and were not afraid to take risks. Basically the opposite of Arteta ball in the Premier League.
It's embarrassing. It's a disgrace.
Arbeloa had always wanted his side to play the Real Madrid way.
That's what it is, a disgrace.
He wanted his teams to be courageous, daring, and dominant on the pitch. At the same time, he was also developing a lot of the younger talents and preparing them for professional football. Several of his players quickly moved closer to the first team, which again boosted his reputation inside the club. So in June of 2025, Madrid made their next move, which was to promote Arbeloa to manage Castilla, the club's reserve team. Now this was a huge step because Castilla is the bridge between the academy and the first team. It's where the young players really learn what senior football actually feels like. Arbeloa's Castilla side played in a modern 4-3-3. You know, the typical high-pressing, fast transition game that we're used to seeing now. The goal was to mirror the style of the first team and prepare these guys for top-level demands. Now, the results were mixed early on, but the performances improved over time. Arbeloa actually helped introduce youngsters like Jorge Cestero and David Jimenez to first-team football while Alonso was still in charge. Very quietly, Arbeloa was building trust inside the club. I say quietly because there was not really any discussion around him at that time. I've only seen clips of what he was doing at the Castilla level when he got appointed as the first-team manager. What changed for Arbeloa was what happened in January of 2026, because Alonso ended up being sacked. Now, people keep saying that Alonso left, but every report that I've seen indicates that he was sacked. You make your own decision. Regardless of how Alonso left, the decision shocked people. Again, Real Madrid were not in a crisis at this point because of their points tally. They were in a good spot in the Champions League, still in the title race for La Liga. It was just weird to see a club legend be thrown under the bus by the players. So when Arbeloa was named as the first team manager, many wondered why would the players respect him if they couldn't respect Xabi Alonso. The decision though was strongly backed by the club president Florentino Perez. He saw Arbeloa as the perfect internal option because he understood the club, he had delivered success in the academy, and he lived and breathed Madrid. Perez also values loyalty and identity, and Arbeloa had both in abundance. Add in the fact that according to reports, Perez actually never wanted Xabi Alonso, and it was a great fit. I mean, Arbeloa had spent nearly 2 decades connected to the club both as a player and as a coach. Now, he walked in with one very simple goal: get the players back on board. Because one of the biggest problems and criticisms around Alonso was that he came off cold and distant. Arbeloa, well, he's the opposite. Passion is the one thing that nobody ever questions about this guy. So the club wanted his energy. They wanted a spark. They wanted a guy who feels like Madrid. And Arbeloa is literally that. Now, of course, it was still a massive gamble. He had never coached at an elite level. Madrid usually go for bigger names like Zinedine Zidane and Jurgen Klopp, although I don't think Klopp would ever join the circus that was Madrid at the time. But Perez wanted someone who could stabilize the team immediately, someone who understood the club's culture inside and out. Because remember, Arbeloa had played with players like Luka Modric and Dani Carvajal. He had mentored younger stars like Vini. The dressing room respected him, and they saw him as one of their own. Then there was also something else. Arbeloa brought fire. That connection he had to José Mourinho meant that he carried this aggressive mentality. I mean, I don't know how many of you have seen the clip of him beefing with Fernando Torres when he was coaching Castilla. So many believe that he would bring that intensity back to the club, which again appealed to Perez because he wanted the team to get a spark. What Arbeloa has done really well is balance that intensity with humility. From day one, he has stressed that the spotlight should be on the players and the badge, not him. Reportedly, he even called Alonso to clear the air and show respect. I mean, these guys have been friends for years. I think even their families know each other. Just a few weeks into his reign, Arbeloa already experienced the full emotional roller coaster. From a humiliating Copa del Rey exit to big Champions League wins to even bigger La Liga wins, the guy has seen both extremes. Still, in his press conferences, he remains simple, honest, and direct. He always talks about hard work, unity, and having Madrid pride. This guy doesn't pretend to be a tactical genius. He's not a tactico. His message is very straightforward. He wants Madrid to fight for every trophy because that's what Real Madrid demands. Los Blancos are still towards the top of La Liga, and their swagger has returned in Europe. Given the chaos he inherited, that's a remarkable turnaround. In many ways, Arbeloa's journey has come full circle. From an academy kid to Champions League winner to youth coach to Real Madrid manager. It's a story built on loyalty and learning. That's why he's building the belief of the players, trusting his stars, letting them shine. It's the same Real Madrid formula that we have seen work time and time again. Now, there's still a long road ahead, but he's shown why the club trusted him with the biggest job in football. Because at Real Madrid, winning isn't a goal, it's the minimum standard. To see how good Kylian Mbappe has been for this team, you have to check out this video right here.